Alright, if you're wondering why Murdoch's not staying beside me in part 2, it's because Dirty Murdy is behind the camera.
Hey guys.
Anyways, this is part 2, and we're discussing meal 5 through 7. Part 1 was on meals 1 through 4. Now, we tend to work out in the afternoon, and that would be why our meal 5 is our pre-workout meal. Now, we would like to get at least 30 grams of protein in before we work out, and a source of carbs to fuel us for that workout. Now, my personal choice is Cheerios. I like a complex carb, but something that digests easily, so that I don't get that tummy ache while I work out. Now, preferably, I would like to eat this about 30 minutes before I get to the gym, and then it's digesting and it's providing me with energy all the way through my workout. So that is meal 5. Now, meal 6 is the post-workout meal. Now, this needs to be eaten immediately after you get done working out. Now, if you've done a really strenuous leg workout, you may feel a little nauseous, may feel like you can't eat, but it's very important to eat this as soon as possible after your workout. Now, I suggest 40 grams of protein because you just tore down those muscles. There's a high demand for protein to rebuild. So 40 grams of protein, and then like a jelly sandwich on white bread, because you want something that has a high glycemic index, meaning that it spikes your insulin. Now, what insulin does is it opens up your cells for nutrients to just flood into them. So we got 40 grams of protein, then we're with the jelly sandwich, the sugars, it releases insulin, or our body releases insulin in response to them. That's opening up those muscles that we just worked out. So all these nutrients, all that protein can go straight into those cells to aid in recovery and muscle growth. So that's the purpose of the jelly sandwich. Now also I like to have like a banana because it digests easily, and it helps get that, spike your insulin as well. And if you don't like bananas, a good substitute is applesauce. And if you don't want to eat the same thing every day, applesauce one day, banana the next day. So that is the reasoning behind meal 6, that being our post-workout meal. Now, if you were going to work out in the morning, obviously you're going to want to take your pre and post-workout meal in the morning and substitute those for what we said, meal 1 through 4 on our part 1 video. Now, with that being said, this is basically now at the end of the day. This is right before we go to bed. We're looking at meal 7, dinner. Now, here's just a suggestion. I like to have about 8 ounces of fish. You could grill, bake it, and just anything but fry it, really. And then something easy to prepare with that is these microwavable packs of vegetables. Right here I have Italian cut green beans, I got green peas, I've got spinach over here. You can just pop that in the microwave, and like 4 minutes later, you got that in your fish, you got a meal. And for a carb, like a good whole grain, rice, it doesn't really matter so much about the type of rice. I know a lot of people say long grain, brown rice, whatever, don't do white rice. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. The difference on the glycemic index is about that much. It's not much difference at all. So, what I've got here is some whole grain brown. I've got some jasmine rice. This stuff's really good. And then I've got some lentils. Now, if you don't know what lentils are, you would cook them similar to cooking rice. Now, these have a little bit different nutritional value than rice, but it's a good substitute for rice, or a good alternative if you don't want to eat rice every night. And you cook it the exact same way as the rice, using just a rice cooker, or just a pot with a little bit of water. Just cook it on the stove. So that is an outline of just how a general diet needs to flow. Notice it's clean, no junk food. With all these meals, we're drinking water, and that's just an outline. Now, on some of our other videos, we're going to talk about substitutes so that you don't have to eat the same thing every day. So, like where we have a meat, you could substitute for another category, or another meat in, in a healthy category. And same thing with the vegetables and carbs and so on. So that concludes part 2 of our example diet.